Creature of the night, don't mean to bring you fright. I'm a creature of the night, not the most pleasant of sight. If alone, gaze into the darkness, I will be there representing blood's kiss. Creature of the night, don't mean to bring you fright. I'm a creature of the night, not the most pleasant of sight. If alone, gaze into the darkness, I will be there representing blood's kiss. Alright, hello there. We're on a special Friday the 13th here, Creatures of the Night. Hello, creatures. Hopefully you can hear me alright, especially on this one, because this one is going to be a premiere, which we're starting off live premiere of Peculiar Encounters Hunt or Hunted. This is the kind of spin-off from the Peculiar Encounters regular, like we call them legacy, traditional exploration, like Urbex and, you know, goofing off and stuff like that. Colton and I had started that on there. This is just kind of a fun little spin-off that is a fictional story, but real places that we go to, and we just kind of incorporate Urbex with ghost hunting and horror genre. But here we go, the countdown. Sasha is somewhere. She's getting up, so I'm not sure. Second here. Okay, turn this up. No! Turn it up. Alright, here we go.
I'm Nova, level 2 years, at least with the Preemptive Ghost Identification Network, as I did regular investigations before that after experiencing phenomenon. Recently, I have taken lead in monitoring surveillance from the vehicle after a leg injury during a hunt.
I'm Finn, level 11 months. I was selected to help identify hauntings, which I had a passion for since I saw my first ghost when I was a child.
I'm Viper, level 5 years, and current lead of my squad. After years of field research, I was recruited to the Preemptive Ghost Identification Network to help with the rapid identification of hauntings so the decision on remedy can be made by others. Although I can sense some things and have cleansing abilities, our missions are to just identify with accuracy and get out. Although we only support the remedy teams, our job is still dangerous.
We know that people have left or died. Brian, get
Hey
in,
Sasha, mute your
identify, and get
Discord.
out. Mysterious and creepy things have happened here. Teamwork is needed. Good luck.
So here we have reports of menacing things going on. It drives people out. So we need to get in there, quickly find out what it is, and mark it down. Alright. I'm going with the crucifix. I'll grab the motion camera.
I got the EMF and the thermometer.
I've got a flashlight and I've got the book. See if we can't get some writing from this thing.
Just in case I got smudge.
Let's see here. Night shot on. See what we're up against here. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, this doesn't look good already. It's like a summoning circle.
Oh my.
Okay. Let me a picture of that. Yeah, let me turn it off night shot so you can see it better. There.
Do we think the entity is in this room already? I mean,
There's a probability it could be. We'll have to. Okay. Let's see here.
Thanks, Jay.
We put the crucifix down right here in the motion camera. And I'm gonna go grab something else. I'll grab the other camera. Okay. Grab you. Grab my
The out of breath
Camera.
thing. Now.
spirit box. And this camera. Grab this one. Okay. And this camera.
Hi, Zach.
I grabbed a spirit box.
sounded like that door opened over there.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Does anyone have the UV light?
No, but I can go and get it. I grabbed Dot's projector while I was out there.
Good.
And check for fingerprints while I'm over here.
Okay. Anybody there?
I think too much time has passed. I don't see any fingerprints.
Okay. What is your name? Where are you? Are you friendly? Where are you? What is your name?
How old are you? Why are you here? Do you hear that?
I heard something.
It just shook the loose.
Alright, so we have equipment being impacted. We'll mark that down. That is electrical. Alright, let's try that again then. What is your name? Who are you? How old are you? What?
What was that?
Okay, so we did say that. We got that down. So we have
So we have
Spirit
electrical
box.
and spirit box.
electrical and spirit box. Oh, what's over here? Oh, I think we found something else.
I think we have a cursed item.
Whoa, that thing is creepy.
Oh, God.
Holy hell.
What happened in this house?
Oh, jeez. Okay.
What the hell are we dealing with?
I don't know.
That was cool how it turned out.
Have this right here. See if anything happens to this. You get pictures of this. Okay. Grab another one. Pretty. Alright. Now.
Did you see any orbs?
No. Not yet.
So no orbs.
We heard footsteps. I'm not sure though. Oh, is you?
No?
Okay. You ever heard of motion camera? Let's see, let's find a place here. Let's say I put it right here since we might have activity. There we go. Alright, I won't put the crucifix in that thing, but if we don't get much activity, we might see what we can do with this thing. I don't normally say that, but if it gets a little slow, because right now we have, what was it? We have
We
electrical?
have electrical issues, and we have spirit box.
Okay. Alright, let's run out and see.
I have Doc's projector as well.
Okay. We're done with the spirit box room. Let me take it back. Let me see what we have out here you want to come with. With what we have here, let me see. Not sure it's Banshee. I've not heard any songs or anything yet. We haven't had high EMF yet, or
You're Banshee,
audio
bitch.
on microphone yet, and nothing on motion detector yet. Right?
Right.
Okay.
Just because we get them in the game.
Black-eyed children. I don't think it's this. We don't have fingerprint footprints yet.
It did mess with the video.
Did mess with video, so maybe we'll have to rule that one out. I don't think it's a Grim. This one's really. We don't have any really of the spirit box. Yes, didn't sound no growls though with it, so I'm not sure. But rule that out for right now. Keep it open. Nothing doesn't feel like imp yet. Let me see it, Jen. So thermometer, audio mic, spirit box, photo evidence.
So we have 2 out of 4.
So we need temperature, and we need the audio.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So maybe. That's a maybe. Kick that one.
So we need to check black-eyed children, and we need to check for Jen.
Mm-hmm. Right here. There we go. See what we get. Okay.
All right, whatever you are, show yourself. We've got all these pretty little lights over here for you to walk through.
Yeah, where are you?
See you.
Show yourself.
Checking for freezing temps right now.
I asked to get the walk in front of the dots.
Right.
Is there anyone here?
Where are you? Oh. Look, it's hunting. Shut up, you like.
It speeds up. Not a phantom. Okay, it's over. Not a cursed hunt.
Not this time.
Not this time.
You weren't playing with cursed objects.
Not yet.
Okay. Okay. I think it's done. You good?
I'm good.
All right. We're good.
I'm good.
All right. What did it toss? Oh, this. Get a picture of it.
That was scary.
Yeah, that was tense. Okay.
Oh, throwing shit. That's nice.
It was wicked exhilarating.
It was. So, okay. So, anything else? What is your name? Who are you?
That could be an orb.
Why'd you throw that soda can?
Did the temperature thing change?
Yeah, it got pretty low. I wouldn't call it freezing temps just yet, but
Coldish.
it got cold.
Okay.
It's that soda bottle that's fell right there.
That's why I noticed my breath when I was hiding. I'm sitting here trying to hold my breath so it didn't catch it.
Okay.
Was that breath?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Kind of cool. What's the temperature right here?
We've got negative temps. It's -2. What?
Ooh.
See the breath?
So, cold
It's-
temps. For sure now.
Cold temps, evidence.
It took so long to do that. Okay.
See, the book's not here to write it down, so.
Yeah. we'll go out and we'll mark it. So looking more and more like yeah, chin. It could be a demon with that sound, heavy footsteps. I'm not sure. Can't rule out yet. And they depend on us to figure this out, and we didn't really. That's a couple options. I'm just not quite definitive yet on it.
Dots are still solid.
Okay. To rule out, because this area, during the hunt, anyone see where it came from or kind of heard where it came from?
I heard a noise came from right there.
Yeah, noise came, but it's creeped. It was kind of interfering with stuff. I'm a little hesitant to. Let me see here. I might take the crucifix down with me just in case. Actually, let me do the crucifix. I'm gonna go down.
Wherever
I'm gonna look in the basement.
Crucifix did not stop the hunt, so it's not right here.
I want to make sure they might not be down in the basement.
It's cooler down here.
Anybody in here?
Feels a lot cooler down here.
I'm gonna go check our sanity level.
Yes, please do.
Thank you.
Oh, those are cool. I got video of it in case you don't come down. They're like old.
Could be orbs. We didn't mark it though.
There's the stairs that we're not using. Down here, it's kind of cool. All right, nothing down here. Let's go back up. It doesn't seem like there's anything. Leave the crucifix right here. All right, what's our sanity?
Now, Viper, you're sitting at 59. Finn is at 25. And I'm at 35.
Okay. Does he need to take a sanity pill?
Yeah, come out here and take one.
Okay.
Take a sanity pill. He's coming.
Oh. Finn. Okay. That he just took one, so he got back up.
Where are you? Who are you? What do you want? Anyone here tonight?
Crucifix on fire. Crucifix is on fire.
Oh my gosh!
Wow. Okay, let's step out for a second. It's gonna hunt again. Shit.
He is fighting over here.
Alright. We're heading out.
Okay.
Oh shit.
I think it's coming from upstairs. Go, 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 go. Oh, height. Oh shit. God.
Alright, sounds faster now.
Alright, end of hunt. Let's go. Let's get out of here before the damn thing hunts again. Come on.
Okay.
You guys pissed that off enough?
Yep. Come on. Okay. Oh shit.
You guys okay?
Okay. Alright. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave this K2 right here for now and EMF.
Okay.
We are out of options, I think, right now. I hate to do this, but I think we'll have time to get in our hiding spots. Our sanity is pretty low, but we took sanity pills, so we have to without ado. I'm gonna light this,
Oh boy.
and we're gonna see
Should be okay,
what
right?
happens.
Bugging here.
I know, right? Oh, this is weird.
Is it a fly or a bee?
This was real.
The fly.
Okay.
All right. Commencing the light. This is nerve-wracking. You're gonna show yourself to us.
That fly just showed up, Martin. You started doing that.
I know.
Like there's a wind blowing.
Yeah, it was a breeze. All right.
You can hear it. That's real too.
I don't know about this.
All right. Let's see here. Get ready to hide.
Oh, hell breaks loose.
And this is why I tell you don't play with
Oh, fuck. Ah. No. No. Of course, we have our van camper who came in and saved the day. The eeriness of this part was kind of eerie.
Oh my god. Boys! Ben? Viper! Shit. Okay. Alright, I gotta...
Yep, dead body photo for insurance. Well, not dead. Passed out. Knocked out, we should say, because it's... The characters come
I
back.
gotta get out of here. Oh, shit. I'm sorry, boys. I'll get you some help, but I gotta go. If it gets me too, we're done for.
trying to walk with that cane was really
I know, right?
especially with my foot already being fucked up.
Yeah. It's like the death rattle.
I don't know what happened to the boys, but I don't think the summoning circle was a really good idea.
You have that Blair Witch vibe now. You just need
I
some
gotta go.
snot coming down your nose.
I gotta go.
No, thank you.
That's all right. Take your time. That's all you can do. I had to just kind of laugh a little bit about that.
Not moving
I know.
very fast at that point. Like,
Here we go, Jay. One more cameo for. Yeah.
Mission failed. We have to come back for another attempt.
Aww. There it is. Yay. Jay is mission control. There it is. And what it's inspired by, of course, all that. So that is the premiere. You just watched it live with us. So that was the very first hunt on the new kind of spin-off series, horror series of Peculiar Encounters that we're doing. Clearly inspired by games that we play. So there we go. I'm trying to get you back to size now. Just a second.
So I'll catch up on the chat stuff here in a moment. I saw Lupita come in.
Now at least I can mute.
Yeah, because you were saying a few things, but it was loud, so I know. What were you saying about the summoning circle sequence? Did you commented on that? I thought you said something.
I said, this shit is why I van camp, because you guys are getting attacked.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
You have a bad habit of playing with the cursed objects, and then we all die.
Well, there you go. So, let me catch up. This is so good. Love the edits, well put together, says Jay. Thank you. Burrow, this is gold. Greetings, creatures. Hello, Lupita. Kai11, wow, I'm speechless how this turned out. Jay says the same. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's, again, kind of a group, little joint effort here. I have to do a lot of the big bulk of the part of it because I do soundtrack and I do the editing stuff, but the people that make this Creatures of the Night thing and this channel also, they contribute to Society of Alternate Dimwits. It just wouldn't be the same if it's just me, myself, and I. So I do appreciate that for the help of Mike. In this one, we're co-stars, so there it is. I don't do very many fiction narrative pieces very much, just because it's so hard to coordinate with people and rely on them as a long-term commitment. That's why the Diviner films, which the last one was 2019, I don't do feature-length ones very often like that. Documentaries and nonfiction, yeah, it's easier. Or Paranormal Endeavor series, which obviously it's a real stuff. This obviously not like this, but it's a big bulk of our resources to do, because there's quite a bit folks involved with that, and we're helping actual real people, real events going on in their lives. This one was clearly Peculiar Encounters. If you weren't sure of the legacy version of it, Peculiar Encounters was kind of kickstarted off with my best friend Colton and I think it was Ryan at the time also. And we just did kind of a little bit of a Urbex stuff. I know where Jay probably knows where I'm going with this, because I was used to do a couple things before YouTube was even a thing when I was like a kid. But it wasn't until I ran into someone like, Exploring with Josh in the old Sam and Colby that kind of got my juices flowing in about 2018 to get started. So that's the way we did Peculiar Encounters, for exploring abandoned places and unknown things and stuff like that. And it fit well on my main channel, because Klein Studios channel is kind of about that. Supernatural, paranormal, unknown, odd, unusual, macabre, whatever. So that's kind of what we did with that. This, however, it had to be its own little thing. It didn't fit under, it wouldn't be a Paranormal Endeavor thing at all, obviously. I didn't want to make it its own separate series. I'm like, what can we do here? We could do a spin-off under the umbrella of Peculiar Encounters, because it fits with that, but have it be a different, almost like a little different kind of a subgenre, where the Hunter Hunted is obviously it's loosely scripted, but it is a fiction thing. The stories are, of course, kind of made up on the fly. The places go to, though, are real. So it's still a little bit of the old legacy part with it, but it's completely more of creative juices are allowed to flow, and we're able to do something that I had not seen really others do. We have plenty of Urbexer YouTubers that go over to the paranormal side, and it's all the same crap. It's just, I was doing paranormal on there before I switched. I did the other way around, where then I went over to Urbexing. So this is kind of a unique way of combining all of our interests of gaming, horror, whether it be horror movies, horror games, ghost hunting horror games, of course, and then the regular supernatural investigation. And if you noticed in here, we actually use real life entity types and equipment. Yeah. So it's not like Demonologist, where we have this like steampunky type made up thing. It's very much the equipment that we use, and some of it is separated out from what my team uses. It has its own specific use just for this, so it's kind of cool. We have that. Just got to remember to grab the right case, that kind of thing. But like, we don't take the sanity pills in when we're doing an investigation with our real clients, and like make them be like, "Who are these cuckoos?" And they're Tic Tacs, of course, but they're so good. And the crucifix stuff, especially, we made multiple versions of that because obviously if there's going to be anybody who's offended by these, it would probably be that sequence. It'd be like, oh, you burned the cross. It's like, it's fiction. I did not go out there and desecrate a holy item. So there's that, but we have special ways. And then not to mention the arsenal of cursed objects and entity type things for our hunts. We had a big pile of this stuff just on the dining room table not that long ago. And one time the internet guy had come in. I'm sure he looked at us like, who the hell are these people? Because he saw like masks, like probably like Leatherface type shit was going on in this house. Just like various masks and tools. And then that wicked object, like what we used, that was a homemade cursed item in this one that you saw. It's eerie though. It's very like you have this skull on top of this very antique looking cherub side looking thing that I found. It just happened to be in the basement here. I think it used to be part of a lamp, but so we got creative, combined that two together, and it looks wicked cool. And then when you shine the UV light on it, it's interesting how the bottom part of the skull actually glowed, and that was what you saw in there. That's when I said, and that's real. That's happened. It's funny how that looked. But yeah, and let me continue.
Yeah, and then I actually almost tripped over the damn thing when we were having a hunt.
Yeah. Well, and
So
when
that like freak out thing that was real because I thought I was gonna fall.
well, there you go. And we worked that in there. But then when we had gotten back, of course, that little cursed item thing that's kind of unsettling to look at anyway was a table placement for a while, and I finally took it down. We just kind of had it out. But and of course, before you asked too, and it will probably be some special features and some behind the scenes stuff on this at some point, but certain things that we do, because familiar with, not trying to chance the reality of certain things, because some stuff doesn't know the difference between fiction and non. So we did do a prayer before we completely left. We got like off the property area, but near the property, but before we even ventured home. So I think it's important to seal yourself off just in case, because what does it hurt? Nothing. It's extra shield, just extra protection, and that kind of thing. So, because the real paranormal side of me still takes this serious to a degree, and I can let myself loose a little bit, but there's some things I still won't do. But yeah, it's like one of the upcoming hunts will be a Ouija board, cool looking one. But we had to figure a way to really kind of do it without actually playing it. So these little hurdles kind of come up along the way to make things work.
Because I definitely don't fuck with Ouija boards.
Right,
so.
yeah. Then we have tarot cards, of course. They'll be coming up at someone. We have multiple cursed mirrors. One actually has a crack in it that we got discounted. And they were like, sure, take it. It was just kind of one of a kind. Of course, we have a voodoo doll thing that looks exactly like the one in Phasmo. Thank you very much. That's Nova here. Sasha had made that. Spent her last couple of weeks working on, or last week working on it before she went back to work. It looks very much like the one in the game. And I would go and pull it. I know where it is in the other room, but I almost want it to be like for that hunt, and then you see it. And then after these things come up, we can talk about it. We can show those props that we use. We can talk a little bit more about behind the scenes, kind of make this, like I said, you're hearing it first here. Make it the Creatures of the Night thing where you kind of get some insight about this stuff before, anyone else really does. So kind of a motivation to stay tuned to these on Friday nights. Happy Friday 13th, everyone. Yep. You too. I have my Friday 13th pants on too. I don't know if you can see. We'll see.
The special pants just for Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Then let me see. The ghosts in that place were like, "What is going on?" LOL. Yeah. Well, it was, and this is what it's kind of one of those eerie things on there. You can kind of either psych yourself out, it could be placebo effect, or there could be actually something that kind of draws its attention to curiousness and is like, what's going on? Who are you? Especially if it sees us open up at all spiritually. We deal with this on our real cases where we're there to help a family and we're open up and like a lighthouse, it attracts, spirit That might be outside at the neighbor's place, something like that. So we have to kind of shut those out, try to be focused on the ones that are in that perimeter, in that area, or attached with that client that we're helping. So that's the reality aspect of it. Now, this particular place is eerie, especially doing that one part on there. That's when I know that sometimes what's stronger than having a score or a musical part, and I'm a musical person. I make my own music and everything, but silence. That's why it's well balanced within that. I hope you could see that, where the music is light, because nothing is more irritating to me when you're watching a horror genre, especially if music is used as a crutch to jump scare. It's like, okay, now that's just annoying. It just startled me because it was just loud. I didn't get scared because of what I was seeing. It was just annoying. It's almost like damn commercials that come on TV where their volumes are all different levels, and he's like, and you're trying to turn it down. It was more of an...
When I'm watching my Roku and all
Yeah.
of it's blasting at us.
Yeah, that's just annoying. That's not scary. It's just annoying. So there's this fine balance that you have where it's a very atmospheric ambience that adds to it. So that's what the score was more so for this. Still lead you a little bit and feel that extra emotion, but then the moments like lighting that circle, it was silent. Because that was even more eerie because of silence. I wanted you guys to kind of experience what Zach and I did at the time that was happening. We're just kind of got the eerie calm, but then the wind was suddenly, it was no breeze whatsoever the rest of that night. It was just like, and there's a breeze blowing through that corridor there. And you could see it, you could hear it on the onboard mic. That's part of why there's no music there. I wanted you guys to hear that. And the flames of the candles were kind of wiggling. You can kind of visibly see it. But to start it off, there's this fly. It comes out of nowhere, just a solo, loud freaking thing, and it was just... At first, I thought it was a bee. I was like, oh god, because this was in July when we shot that first one. And, very likely, it could have been a beehive somewhere. Nope, it was a fly. And flies are notorious as one of those insects that show up associated with certain kinds of haunts. So it was just kind of an interesting touch to it. So we kept that in there. What else? Oh, one of the earlier sounds, like once we just found I think it was the part where we came across, our characters came across the haunted item, cursed item. And they heard the sound and were like, what was that? Did you hear? That was actual sound. And I kid you not, the sound that it made, like almost like a footsteps that mimicked from Phasmophobia. When you're going up and down the stairs, it was like this little like creak thing where like, I come from the stairs. Do we have a mimic? I was like mimicking the sounds of the game where one of the games this is inspired by. It was very weird. So we heard that, and I kind of tried to boost it a little bit without making it sound artificial. So it's in there. You have to rewatch it again, and it's one of those things you probably want to rewatch again, especially if you were late to it tonight for the premiere. But watch it again on a full screen, headphones, everything. You catch all these things that you might have missed the first time.
I get to rewatch it tomorrow with the girls because I showed them the trailer for it. Jordan's fascinated by it. Like, she even got her phone and is recording our clip on her phone so she can have it because her YouTube is censored, so she wasn't able to find it.
Right.
So I told them when I'm there tomorrow that we'll watch it.
Yeah. So that's cool.
She's all excited.
Oh, wow, that was so good. Thank you. Lupita says intense. Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna go rewatch it when I wake up. Okay. Have a good night, you two, and everyone watching. Okay, Jay. See you, Jay. Hopefully we'll catch you in gaming at some point. I know with her catching up on sleep and lack of, we might not be up too late tonight ourselves, but she'll tell you a little bit about her week. It's been a wild one. Definitely some stuff here when we get to her part of this. Mind-blowing. The Jason pants look cool with the You People shirt and Dead Inside beanie. Yeah, I'm quite the mix, don't I? This is totally me. Every aspect of it. So yeah, so that was first one, number 1, 10th Sunset Avenue Abandoned House. The addresses for these places obviously are made up, fictional, but we wanted to give them addresses so then that way, in case we do have to go back, we have like an easy reference point to it and be like 10th Sun Street Avenue. Or Sunset Avenue, yeah. So that's going to be one of those things. Obviously, this one was a failure, and there's a hint on there. It's kind of a cliffhanger. I know it's kind of rude of me probably to do that as our first one, but hey, I wanted to kind of go and do like a bam, like you were saying, Lupita, intense. So it's kind of going against the rules in a lot of storytelling to have the main characters lose immediately in the first thing. But I wanted that in there because it's like you don't see that very often. Yeah, but you build the character off and it's like kill him off immediately. No, it's a continuation. We'll be back. And we'll be more wiser and we'll be ready to take this thing on and guess it correctly so we can send it back. So then the Remedy teams, again, another fiction part of the story, the Remedy teams that go in there and handle the cleansing of it. And they have a certain fraction of failure themselves. So we go in and identify it because it's, we get the dangerous job. Well, what they do is actually probably more so because there's such a resistance with religious items or trying to get rid of something that doesn't want to be banished. And maybe we'll do some kind of a side little story thing where 5 different people that want to play those will kind of show like a flashback scene or do a scene showing a little bit of what the Remedy team does, because we never really see them very much normally. You just reference them all the time. So maybe, it's part of the story of the Hunter Hunted universe. So they go in there and they might piss it off and it might shoo them away or change, and they might cause us to go back to, it could be 10 hunts from now. We got to go back to Sunset Avenue again. Why? What now? What happened? Well, story be told, and Jay will probably get with you on this and be another. It's like, sounds like somebody who didn't know what they were doing came in and opened a portal, and so we have to do it all over again. I mean, that's possible with this. You never know. So, anywho.
Neither do we.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of you don't really know. The hunts themselves, the actual, like, ghost type or entity type is really last minute. It really is. We kind of like, okay, we're going to do one here. It's like really spontaneous. We might have a week notice when it's like, okay, we're going to do this. We have a place, we're going out here, and then it's like literally like not really any rehearsal really with it, just kind of on the fly, we got to go kind of thing. But we know the basics of it. It's like, okay, this hunt is going to be, this one's going to be black-eyed children. Okay, so this is what we look for on it and kind of give them the little look at what it is. So it's predetermined in that aspect. And we go through, and then as we're doing stuff and taking on the environment, also noticing that Urbex is a part of it too. It's still an unknown place. Some of these places we go to, it is still, either abandoned or creepy or whatever it is. And so we're still trying to explore them. Also, at the same time, we're doing this. And so we got to remember, and sometimes like that first one, I'll give you a little behind the scenes. First one, we had to do 2 hunts in 1 visit. Obviously, because as I said, is probably going back. But we just decided to do it all at once. Well, my scatterbrained ass was getting, because I was focused on the not just the place, but the shots and everything like that we're getting. And then I remembered, oh shit, I merged over into Hunt 2, technically. So we shot that out of order, and I had to go back and edit in post and then reassemble it all, making sure that the stuff that you just saw in here was not meant for Hunt 2. So, because Hunt 2 stuff is like in the middle. You have like Hunt 1 stuff on this like master file, and then like 15-20 minutes in, it switches over automatically to, there's a continuity issue clearly with Hunt 2 stuff. Like, oh, hold up, why are we arriving again? Oh, so it was kind of one of those things, but. It's a good time. I don't know, like I said, how many of these we'll do. It's very fitting for this time of year, though, for the Gothmas season. Because I wouldn't mind also kind of renewing just some of the regular Peculiar Encounters, legacy ones, where it's just, we're not in character, we're ourselves, and we're just, it's more of the nonfiction part, and we're just documenting a thing or place or whatever that is peculiar. So. Anyway, that's all I have for it. So I know I had to be kind of tight-lipped for a little while now, but now you saw that one, so that's what we've been working on. So yeah, any comments or any other questions about it, you can feel free to get it now since you have the cast and producer and everything with you right now. So otherwise, just put them in the chat. We'll get to them as we can. If you do have any questions that you think of or anything, otherwise, I'll turn it over now to Sasha to have her update you on how her back to work and her new schedule is going.
It's been a week. So I went back to work. What was it? Was it Saturday? No.
Last week? No, I mean, well, when you went back, yeah, because the first time you went back, it was that you left here on Monday. Yeah.
Right. Well, regardless, I went back through the company called Hire, which is the company that my company uses to get extra help, and it's like a temp agency thing. Found out that I was able to go to my own job because I was on leave. Because normally, since I work for the company, I can't work for or go to my own store, basically. But because I was on leave, they're like, yeah, who cares? So I went ahead and went back, making a little bit of extra money or whatnot. Finally, officially went back to work Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Monday night.
Yeah.
And worked a 16-hour shift.
We should know that because we rushed through Phasmo. Because we do the weekly challenge on that. We try to get that done Sunday or Monday. So, yeah, that's why.
And then we did that, and then what was the next night? After working that 16-hour shift, coming home, I'm trying to get some sleep. I've got my boss calling me, my big boss calling me, and then I could not go back to sleep after that. So 3 hours of sleep, having to work that night, and then as soon as I was done with work, had to drive to Indiana to see my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So after the 3 hours of sleep and whatnot, we did another thing for the hunter be hunted, and like up to the point where like he's having to finish up as I'm heading out the door because I've got to go to work, and I wasn't gonna be back because of driving up to Indiana to see my kids. So I worked another 13-hour shift and then drove the rest of the way to Indiana. But in Indiana, I found out my kids' dad. I had some custody stuff going on. I thought he was trying to take sole custody. He misspoke because he's a special case and doesn't know legal terminology to save his life. Doesn't even understand half of what the hell he was even trying to tell me. But besides that, no, he was just asking for primary because of the fact that I'm living here right now and the kids are staying with him. They have school, they've got friends there, they've got family and all that fun stuff. So that was part of the reason why when I had to come down here because of my own situation, I asked him to take temporary custody of them because it was going to be safer for them. Plus, I didn't want to try and pull them from school because they dealt with enough. Well, so because of all that, and then finding out that his sister was actually going to be willing to let me stay there with the girls on my nights and my weekends there so that I'm not having to pay for a hotel. I'm not having to go to custody or go to court. He finally took a step back and shut the fuck up, and he's like, okay, we're good. It wasn't quite like that. Like, that's just how I'm wording it. But, yeah, so that was a plus because that was a huge relief to me, a huge relief to my roommates because that means less of my stress here. That kind of changes the feeling of the house when you have one roommate that's going through a hell of a lot, and that stress just kind of oozes, unfortunately. I try and rein it in. I'm not very good at it. But So yeah, got that part taken care of. I'm all happy. I'm finally back at work. It's chaos. I walked into so much chaos. They had fallen behind in the last 4.5 months. I heard nothing but, "Oh my God, she's back!" I had one associate that didn't even recognize me because it had been that long since he'd seen me. But so I went to Indiana for Wednesday, Thursday of this week. Got some time with my kids, and then um, Thursday, so yesterday, I had a team chats meeting for 2 hours, and my boss isn't there. Our big boss is there, our flagship manager is there, but my boss isn't there. We thought maybe because he'd been pulling so many hours and stuff that he fell asleep and just missed the meeting. We were making jokes about how he was going to have to deal with my wrath when he worked with me that night. Well, a couple hours later, I get a phone call from my big boss informing me that apparently my boss had sent in his letter of resignation effective immediately. Completely blindsided. I wasn't expecting that, and he wasn't answering calls and stuff. And I actually did hear from him a little bit ago, so he's doing okay, but um, he needed the mental time away from everything to do with my job. Some people are built for retail, other people aren't. He'd been in a manager of a restaurant for years. It's a very, very different environment. But so I'm at work, and my boss is telling me, my big boss, that I'm going to play ambassador for Meyer. Um, so I would be like the go-between Serviu and Meyer. I'm out of the management team that I have. Um, I've been with the company for a year. I've my old boss in Elkhart, he is a flagship store leader now. So that means that he trains the other store managers and goes to their stores and helps them out as needed. He had trained me to run our Elkhart store because that was going to be my job, is I was going to basically be the store manager without being the store manager. Um, but it would have been a pay raise and stuff like that. But situation brought me here instead. So then I get a forwarded email from him that he had sent to the Meyer management team to get out ahead of the fact that our boss had just kind of up and quit and nobody knew what the hell happened, informing them that I was taking over the store manager position, effective immediately. And I'm just like, oh. I was like, it was talked about, but I didn't know that I was officially getting the job. So I am now the store manager for my company at my store. So I got a little, it's not a little promotion, but it is. So, I mean, it's doing the same job that I was already doing, except for now I have the responsibility switches from hourly to salary. But yeah, so my week had been a very, very good week, minus the chaotic way that my boss left. Um, Good things have been happening, so it was a good Friday the 13th for me.
Not having access to your money, that was another downer.
Yeah, that hopefully will be taken care of by
In the morning,
morning.
yeah.
So we have as many jobs do where you can access your paycheck or a portion of your paycheck early. I've never used it. Or
This is
I
part of
was
why
up
she's
for
catching up on sleep. She only got like a couple
yeah,
hour nap.
so well, let me backtrack for a minute. Yesterday I got up at 9 o'clock my time here, had the take my daughter to school, or that was after I took her to school. I had to get up. I had my manager meeting. Then I had to pick my daughter up from school, or daughters. Went out to dinner with them. Took them to their dad's. Hung out with them at his house for like an hour, and then drove all the way back to work. Worked a 15-hour shift today. So by the time I got home and laid down for my nap, I had been up for 33 hours.
That's why she even looks
So,
tired right now. So
yeah, I look cracked out because I did not redo my makeup or anything else. I was just like, fuck it. Because my makeup's still in the car.
mm-hmm.
I did not want to, I didn't want to go out there. Um, but yeah, so normally I can use Pay Active to get a portion of my paycheck. Well, that's my money to go and see my kids tomorrow. And I made them a promise because they're going to my mom's and it's supposed to be my weekend. Well, I couldn't afford a hotel for the entire weekend, and now with me taking over this position, I need to be at my store to delegate and try and get things situated because I can't even begin to tell you how much of a disaster it is. This is the third time I've had to clean up this store. Um, but trying to get a hotel room for that long, it just isn't feasible for me right now, especially seeing how I'm just now getting back to work. So I had an issue where, um, for some reason, it's showing the hours that I worked, but it says I have X amount that is available, but I have zero amount that I have access to. So I call PayActive and I'm like, hey, this is what it's showing me. What's going on? And they're like, hey, so you are inactive in our system, so you can't access your funds. You need to contact your people at work. So I contact my people at work and they're like, oh, yeah, we got it fixed in the system. You should be good to go. So after a couple hours and it still wasn't going through, I called um, PayActive back and I'm like, hey, so my job fixed things. It's not showing up in the system on my end. What's going on yours? And he goes, well, it could take up until X amount of time for it to go through. So if you don't have it fixed or if it's not showing by this time at night, go ahead and give us a call back. Well, that was while I was working and I was hyper focused and didn't have the time to sit there and wait on phone for half an hour while they found somebody to help me. Um, so I waited until I was on my way back home. I'd stopped at the gas station that's uh, about an hour from home because that's normally where I find the cheapest gas price that I can. And so I call him back because I'm like, okay, I had like $37 left in my account, and I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna be enough to fill my tank. So I call him again. I'm like, hey, it's still not showing updated in the system. It hadn't updated since the previous day. You know, what's the status so I can get this taken care of? I can, be able to afford anything right now. And this lady, she was, as it was, I was tired. And so probably a little bit on the cranky side. But if you come at me in a type of way where you're cutting me off and not letting me talk, it's going to piss me off. So that's what she was doing while I'm trying to talk. And I'm just like, no, look here. This is the fourth time that I've had to call you guys for the same damn issue. And she goes, well, ma'am, if you would let me explain. I'm like, I don't need you to explain. I just need to know. Does it show as active, inactive? What's going on? So apparently, she goes, you need to get a hold of your ADP person for HR because it is through ADP that is showing you as inactive. We have two separate files, one that shows your hours, one that shows that you're inactive. We can't give you that money because it shows that you're inactive. I'm like, okay, that's what I needed to hear. I needed to know who to go to because I had already emailed our ADP payroll lady who forwarded it to the lady who dealt with my short-term disability leave. So the short-term disability leave lady is the one who fixed it in the system, but apparently for some reason there was a miscommunication between ADP and that, where it still was showing me as inactive, even though I could clock in and clock out, no problem. They're okay with, letting me actually make money, but just not having access to it yet. So I did get I got a email back from them, and because I sent it directly to, I sent it to the payroll lady, leave of absence lady, and my boss. Because I'm like, I'm done fucking around with this shit. Here's all the information they gave me. You guys figure it out, because I need this money if you want me to come into work. Like, I'm not going to be able to put gas in my car and actually show up for my shift if I don't have gas money from the work I've been doing. I was like, or I can go in and work, but it'll be through hire, and I'll be on the Meyer side of things where I'm not dealing with you guys anymore. But, so she said she got it all taken care of and that I should have access to the funds in the morning. This is very much as Eric told me the other day, or I think it was yesterday, that this is a Vivid Seats situation, work edition.
Yeah.
Where I'm having to play phone tag with 15 different people to get the situation figured out so we can get our money.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to fix his situation for that. I'm hoping that I've already taken care of this one where I'll be there in the morning, and I can go and see my kids, because one way or another I'm not breaking my promise to them to be there.
Otherwise, I mean, worst case scenario, you don't have access to your money. You said you have enough to get to your mom's, and then from
I've
there
got a full
you'd
tank of
have to
gas right
figure it
now.
out, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a full tank of gas right now.
Okay.
Because from Pekin the rest of the way home, it's an hour drive, and it only takes about 20 miles of my gas.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's more than 20 miles.
Mm-hmm.
My car does fantastic with gas.
Yeah.
With
There
its
you go.
mileage. I absolutely love my car.
Just
I love it
when
and hate
it's
it all
working.
at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why I said I love it and hate it all at the same time. There are things on it that I would love to have fixed. There are things that I would love to change. But at the same time, up until it had its mental breakdown when I was on my way back to Indiana that one time, it's been a really good car. It's gotten me quite a few different places when most cars probably would have broken down long before that. I know a Ford would have.
Well, yeah. Well, especially being your Chevy, I would bank on Kyle Levin's Toyota over your Chevy for any day.
Yeah, well,
Just because it's a Toyota. I mean, to be fair.
I know. Hey, I told you my first car was a Toyota, and
Right.
I wanted a Toyota.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when we went to Toyota, they had a Chevy
Mm-hmm.
that had been a trade-in,
Yeah.
and that was within my price range and
Yeah.
my ability to get, because I needed a cosigner, and my kid's dad was my cosigner at the time, so my car's paid off
There you
now.
go.
So I mean,
It's like that meme I'd shared. Where it's like, I drive a piece of shit, but hey, at least I don't have a car payment. So
right?
that was what I shared on Facebook. All right, well, that's I mean, that's a breath and a half. And she's really been on this new schedule. It's been kind of interesting because we've had our routine, and then she switched over to
Completely
working
obliterated
thirds.
now.
She's working graveyard shift by choice because trying to get some things figured out back over in Indy. So it's just a whole different. I knew this day was going to come eventually, but I didn't know she was
Yeah.
going to be like overnights, like immediately. I thought she would be returning to work on, which was planned. But it was going to be her day side, I thought it was going to be like back to pre-cutting of the foot.
So here's the thing: is that when I started back at work, they put in my welcome email. Don't forget to take it easy or ease in carefully to work. My version of easing in carefully, and I posted this on my Facebook, was working a 16-hour shift the one day, sleeping 3 hours, then working another 13 the next. Like, that is my version of easing into shit. I don't do things halfway. Obviously, I mean, I look what I did to a lawnmower.
Well, you overdo it and you step wrong, or like you were saying, you have someone crush your foot or whatever, then you're going back to the doctor. So you need to be careful with it, not be completely careless.
I'm not, but that's part of the reason I wanted to work third shift for now was it's less people, which means less chances of an accident happening because of somebody's stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Because now her foot's
but-
forever. It's not going to be exactly the same as it was before. It's going to be more susceptible to, taking a little less blow before it's knocked out of some whack of some kind again. So it's more of a fragile thing. It's healed up as what it can and be more healing, but it's not going to be a perfect foot. That damage is there.
It's
That
not
damage
gonna
is going to be there.
I mean, rehealed fractures and stuff like that. Anybody who's broken a bone will know that when it reheals, it has like this little like knot over where the bone grew back together and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting because like I can't wiggle.
Yeah.
Like I can wiggle them, but I can't bend my
You should
toes.
show our creatures your X-ray photos sometime. Maybe we'll bring that on one of these.
I have to get copies of my X-rays.
Okay. Because it was interesting to see it from like the Macomb Hospital, like the very first ones, and to the progress of like the next set of 2 or 3 or whatever it was till her final checkup. It was a fascinating journey. So.
Oh, and I mean, I know I have pictures on my.
I thought you took a phone.
It's on my external hard drive.
Okay. Because you took a picture of the screen. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been an interesting thing, and now because of me running the store and having to have that be the face of Servue for Meijer, so that they can actually see me and talk to me if there's an issue or they have questions. I'm gonna be like basically on call from here on out. Like I can't not answer my phone if one of my employees calls and stuff like that. That's the really downside of this shit.
Which that happened already. One call her from work. I think it was a newbie at the time. No, I think she'd already hurt her foot, if I remember right. Or it was right before she did. I can't remember. It was this last spring.
I think it was right before I hurt my foot, because once I actually hurt my foot, they were not allowed to call me for anything.
Okay.
But it could have been, because I know that Laura had questions about hire.
Right.
But so that might be what it was, but I don't remember.
And I think one of them was a girl that quickly wasn't with the company for very long after that. I think they talked to you too.
Oh, she had questions. Yeah, no, that girl didn't get a hold of me, but Laura had called me about a question about that girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that girl did not last long.
Yeah. So.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
My team right now I've got one that's on intermittent leave for her own custody stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Another one hurt her back when she fell last week, so she's on temporary leave until she goes to the doctor's on Wednesday. And I've got a part-time guy that is a hot-headed that cannot be left alone with my ASM.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to play babysitter. And I'm like, okay, because I had a conversation with both of them. I'm like, look, this is not high school.
Right.
I'm not babysitting you. If you two cannot get along when I leave for the couple of hours that you guys are here together, we have bigger problems than the fact that our boss just quit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those.
Just note there's going to be some times where it's like, you got to take the call if you can, because we might be at a concert or something, or so there's kind of that, there's going to be a fine line kind of
like
thing.
That,
right.
Yeah, situations like that. My boss, my big boss, well, I guess he is just now my boss because I don't have a boss anymore. When he goes on vacation and shit, he leaves his work computer and work phone and everything at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell him the same thing. That is, if I am on or out for, like, say, a concert or something, or if I'm spending, like, Saturday, how I'm going to be with my kids, and I'm not going to be in a good place for a cell reception because my mom's house sucks with cell reception, don't call me.
Right.
if my ASM, by the time I'm done training her, because she's never had the proper training and I got hurt before I had a chance to properly train her. If she is not able to answer the question, then the Meyer management can go to my boss.
And that should be how it should be. I'm so glad I don't have an on-call type job, because I wouldn't answer the phone for some, when I'm off the clock. It's like, no. And then the worst kind of on-call are the literal physical on-call, where you have to come in at you drop everything you're doing and come in to do something. That's almost like you're a volunteer firefighter. And I'm hoping it's not that bad for you, because that's going to be a hell of a drive if you have to drop what you're doing.
I already talked to them about that. I said, look, I live 2 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want me to be able to be here on the drop of a dime? You're gonna have to help me with the relocation, because I can't do it.
Right. So just occasional. Hopefully it's not all the time and they abuse it. But if it's occasional, if it's on call, as in like you're getting a call from someone here and there, it's work related, and we have to pause something we're doing or go to the other room kind of thing, then okay. But if it's like you have to just bolt and we already had plans, it's like, yeah, I spent money on this Live Nations thing we're gonna go to, but I can't go now because my work wants me in, then that's BS. I think personally.
Fuck that.
So
fuck that.
There's this balance you have to find with a workplace when you're not self-employed.
Exactly.
You have to have a personal and your work life, professional and personal non-work. I was talking to another friend of mine who works at a car dealership, I guess, and he's already talking about maybe finding a different kind of job, because the fact that he had someone test driving a car right after, like they arrived literally 2 minutes to close, and they were like, we'll drive a car or whatever, and they were gone testing it out for like an hour or whatever. He's like, this is BS, because he had to stay after. So what were you saying?
I said, well, you can tell him that I need people.
Oh.
I don't know how much he gets paid, and it probably won't be nearly as much, especially if he's working at a dealership.
Yeah, he makes a good, because he gets a commission or whatever with his job too. So you get like their base, I think, and then I think he makes more than me even. So he wants to try to find, that's the downside. He'd probably, like what you were thinking of even at the beginning when you're even talking about the idea of leaving the job that you have now, is like always there's that risk of a pay cut. So it's always a bummer starting over in that way, unless you find something really nice. So
yeah, I'm not gonna get much of a pay raise from this either, which is why I won't be working over 40 hours. If it comes down to I have to go in or anything along those lines and have to be there for a couple hours, and I'll cut it at a different time, whether it be the next day or sometime the next week, because I'm not working over the 40 hours. That's what my flagship manager was telling me about today, is that like we should not be working past 40. That's why we have people that we delegate to. If it's something that I'm not able to get to, I'm supposed to be like, hey, Laura, I wasn't able to do some of these implants today. I need you to go ahead and pick those up for me. Have them done by this time. So hopefully that's how this works. I mean, if I end up going a little bit over that, I'm fine with that. Right now, I've been back for 3 days. I worked 3 days. And in those 3 days, I'm at 45 hours. And since all 3 days I worked 8 hours of overnights, that's an extra $1 per hour for each of those nights. So I'm raking in the overtime.
She just doesn't have access to her money. So it's kind of funny and ironic at the same time. Kyle Evans says, I thought I overdid things. I almost read that as librarians, but we Librans are determined creatures. Haha. Yeah. Stubborn. Yeah. Sometimes blockheaded. Yeah. But,
it's necessary sometimes. But
sometimes.
Again, Libra, the scales, you find that balance. At work, I'm not the one kind of attitude. Like, because I think that's part of the reason that they went ahead and gave me the position, because I straight out told them, if Meyer Management wants to come at me any type of way, I'm not the one to fuck with. Like, I'm going to tell you how it is. I know my job. I know what we do for ServU. And if they don't like it, they can look at our contract with Meyer. So, unfortunately, my boss was more of a pushover. And so he got more than once kind of bullied into doing things that were outside of our scope of what our job description is. And I was just like, you're lucky that you're the one that is the boss right now instead of me, because I would have told him to shove it. Now, anybody who knows me outside of work knows that I'm not like that. I'm more of the sit in the back and let somebody else be like, hey, you do this, you or take direction, because I don't like to be that person, like, to go up and be like, hey, darling, blah, blah, blah. At least I've done it a couple times with Eric, but like if we're out somewhere, but for the most part, I'm good. I'll let somebody else deal with it.
Someone, like me, a lot of times certain times I will be the one who, okay, listen, and I'll take the the headstrong approach if need be with certain things where she's more of the don't worry about it, I'll just pull back, and it's like no, this and I take charge with that kind of thing. But as what we were just talking about, I'm kind of glad that you didn't drop any names or whatever, because I was like, oh, hopefully no one from your work sees this. It's like just on the eve of your promotion. Cause certain things, it's like jobs can be funny. Sometimes it's like, she said what? So
they know me well enough to know that I would say this shit anyway, right. So
just saying, I want to cover the base. It's like, okay. Let's see. Lupita, did you have a? Oh, good. It cut out from the heart there. Good birthday, Sasha. There it is.
It was a decent one. It was a laid back, chill one, and thank you to both Zach and Eric for making it a decent one.
Because it kind of fell on a time frame with all these changes, so it wasn't the best birthday ever. But we tried, because we had the Black Veil Brides concert cancel.
Yeah, the Black Veil Brides concert, which was my present to myself, got canceled. And then because of just getting back into work and stuff, I couldn't make it to go see my kids. Like, I stayed home for my birthday. And so I called them, and my youngest she answered the phone. She was clearly upset about something. So I'm trying to coax her out of it, and she's very much one of those that when she gets upset, she shuts down.
I'll be right back. Keep going.
Okay. So since she shuts down, she refuses to talk. She refuses to do anything. So she wouldn't tell me what was wrong. She didn't want to really talk. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll let you go then. And I hear their dad in the background saying, you could at least tell her happy birthday. And I'm like, no, it's fine. I mean, it is what it is. She's upset. And I didn't know why. I assumed it was because of the fact that it was my birthday and I wasn't there. So she never said happy birthday. And that kind of hurt. But she's 7 and she didn't get to see her mom on her birthday. Kind of could get that. My oldest, on the other hand, didn't apparently even remember that it was my birthday, even though her and I had literally talked about it the previous day. She goes, oh, it's your birthday? She's got this little, I don't even know, a hood-like twang thing that she does sometimes, and it's like, please stop. But yeah, so she made sure to tell me happy birthday, but she wasn't feeling good, so she didn't really want to talk to anybody. Like, she hadn't even been on the phone with her friends that day. So I was like, all right, well, I mean, I'm not gonna make you sit here and talk to me right now, especially if you're not feeling good. Like, I'll let you go. Thank you, I love you, and I'll see you this week. So, I mean, it was hard to not be with them for my birthday, and even harder with the fact that neither one of them was really up for talking. Like I said, Jordan not feeling good and Emery being upset. So, I mean, so I was kind of a little bit on the downside when in the first thing in the morning and whatnot. But we went and saw the new Exorcist movie, which wasn't too bad. I was not holding out high hopes of liking it, but I actually did like it.
Yeah.
There was, as Eric would say, there were some cringe parts in there that were just like predictability.
They tried to save themselves though, which was kind of nice. There's a love-hate thing I have for that movie because it was great. If any of you remember the original, of course, it was very, at the time, especially when it came out in the 70s, very eye-popping, surprising. Some would say very unsettling, and scary, of course. And that was, of course, 1970 standards. And then this one wasn't too bad. It had some moments where it was like, okay, that's kind of scary. And then, I don't want to spoil anything, but just note that there's some, like, for any moments that there's, like, a little bit of that stereotypical cringe that's in a horror movie. It's like, oh, there it is. And then they come back from it and then send kind of a shocker moment. It's like, oh, and they kind of pull you back in a little bit. And then they end it kind of along those lines, too. And it was just like, okay. So he's left a little bit kind of like, huh. Overall, broad strokes, the movie was good. I would say see it.
Yeah, I thought it was decent. And then afterwards, we were trying to find Spirit Halloween. Stopped at where it said the location was. It was the previous location from last year. And apparently nobody decided to update Google Maps and let them know that there is no longer a Spirit Halloween there. So we had to hunt down a different one. But Eric ended up getting me a Wicca book.
Which I didn't know if you have it here or if it's...
It's in my car right now in
okay.
my bag. I took it with so I could show Jordan. But since she was still sick while I was down there, she didn't stay the night with me. I had some one-on-one time with Emery, which he needed anyways. So
it wasn't extravagant, over-expensive gift. It wasn't animatronic or any of that kind of stuff. I was just kind of low-keyed, was kind of seeing what she was looking at, and then I just was like, well, I'm not going to be surprised necessarily. I'm just going to be like, okay. And then I finally was just like, of a couple of different things, what drew you the most or whatever? And then we found this, and so got that. So I kind of had it under 20 or under limit, but got her a little birthday gift at least. So.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But then we went to Pet Supply Plus, or no, PetSmart?
PetSmart.
Okay. Because we had to pick up crickets for Zelda, which is my albino gecko, and plus the pixie frogs eat them too, and then sometimes I'll give them to the beardies, and so I was talking, or I actually pulled what I do at work. I went up to the cashier. As I'm walking up, this lady kind of sees, she goes, I know that look. I'm like, hey, darling, I need something. Need some crickets. So her and I are talking about, like, she was asking what kind of reptiles and stuff we had, and I'm, like, going through the list of the 50 million reptiles that we have. And so, because she liked how many we have, and the fact that mine is an albino, she gave me a discount on the cricket. So instead of paying 17 cents per cricket, I paid 9 cents per cricket.
And a few extra crickets in there than what she...
Yeah, she's like, there's probably more than 51 in here, but oh well.
I had that
like,
before at an old Petco back home at the other place I used to live at. He was very he's kind of newer guy there. He's like, oh, I'm just going to say that looks like 30, wink. And I was like, okay, good. I mean, I got away with a lot of stuff and eventually, needless to say, and I don't know how the story actually went, but, after a few months, I didn't see him there anymore, so I don't know. But it was a very nice thing that I got at the time. But
yeah, and especially with funds being tight at that point, because I was still waiting on certain other funds. It was definitely a thank you. I needed that. I mean, it's $5, but $5 adds up.
Yeah.
It could add up pretty quick sometimes.
So, all right, probably trying to wrap things up
Oh,
here a little bit more.
nope.
What was your
You
other thing?
have your own. You have your own announcement about a reptile.
About what?
Wood turtles.
Oh, well, I hate to jinx it because I don't know if it's a thing yet. We did come
You
across
would know.
one of the wood turtles. I'm not sure which one. I have to recheck them and see which one's a female and which one's not. But there's an egg that was laid in one of the little hidey spaces in their enclosure. So I'm just kind of seeing if it ends up hatching. I know it's about 67 days or so for not intubation, but for the maturity of it.
Gestation.
Yeah. So I'll have to see what happens with that. I'm tempted to pick it up and shine a light through it delicately and see if it looks like there's something in there or if it's a dud. I mean, it hasn't smelled or anything. I mean, bad eggs will eventually, you'll smell them too. They'll start to go kind of rot like anything else. So here's to hoping that we'll have some new life in a baby wood turtle from scratch. That would be cool. Needless to say, it'd be nice to counterbalance because recently we had a loss also. Had one of the smaller aquatic turtles in the... Zach, you know what I'm talking about. The aquarium that had 3 of them in there. Diamondback terrapin, map turtle, and the yellow belly slider. Well, unfortunately, yellow belly had passed. It's fine during feeding day 2 days before, but that's kind of how reptiles are. This kind of... They unless they really go lethargic, which this one did not. It was eating fine. It was just a vicious animal eating, and just like normal. And it sucks when that happens and stuff. Had it for a few years now. I'm not sure exactly how long, but it being a junior, it in theory should have had many more years in it. So I'm not sure what happened, but I got it at a reptile show, I believe. So I sent and Sasha also a list of the upcoming reptile shows. One, I think the earliest one is next month, and then another one that we sometimes go to because of proximity is in December, which will fall on my birthday weekend. So those are chances, because I'd rather get them in person and get a chance to actually see them. Stuff I've ordered 1 or 2, I think 2. I think Al Capone, that tortoise up there, came overnight live mail, and the Diamondback terrapin came that way too. So, but I just usually don't do that because it also costs quite a bit more to get them like that, because the overnight cost for a live animal, you're looking at like easily $70, $75 just in shipping fees on top of whatever else it is. So I generally like to support reptile shows and get a chance to look at them there. So if we see any baby turtles that would go well in there. I did think about, I'm going to relook it up, but people have done it before where they have their hard shell junior turtles in with soft shells of the similar size. I contemplated that if
Putting JJ in
JJ
with
gets along well and doesn't cause issues. I'm not worried so much about the others because we tried to put the soft shell turtle, the new one, in with the Florida soft shell turtle, which is established and a little bit bigger. And Jackson, that was its name, is its name, I should say, just went, it was fine at first, kind of curious, checking each other out, and then just went like, and started nipping at the other one. Yeah, so that's why we have it out in its own little enclosure.
That was not a nip. Jackson grabbed JJ and pulled him down. I had to reach in the tank. Like this is when my foot was still fucked up, and so the most I could really do was play babysitter to watch them to make sure that they were okay. And it's a good thing that I was.
Yeah.
Because I had to rescue JJ. So. By the way, JJ stands for Jackson Jr. because we don't
have enough like another name for now. So it's just doing a temporary thing right now for that. So
hey, JJ could be a guy or a girl name. So right. I mean, it works regardless.
So, but anyway, so I've contemplated that about putting that one in with the other 2. And seeing how they get along. But before I do any of that, I want to do a partial water change on there and kind of clean a little bit the coral, and a brand new filter change again, even though it just recently went through a filter change, but I'm going to do it again. Just kind of
make sure the water is okay and everything. Just because that one just croaking out of nowhere is kind of like, what? So they have a submersible heater in there. Everything temperature wise, it's fine. They're eating fine. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. You can do like everything right and still have something go wrong. So it's one of those things. Their UVB bulb was just recently changed. Also, it's within its 6-7 month time frame, which they say could go up to a year if you have it like off half the time, because those UVB bulbs, they kind of simulate what the sunlight would do in a natural basking environment. So they're expensive bulbs, but they last only, they have a lifetime of only up to a year, I guess, if you have it like 12 on, 12 off. If it's on continuously, then you're supposed to change it out like every 6 months. So this one was recently changed, so I don't think that was the issue. It was on the basking platform just days before I found it, and not alive anymore. So, anywho, so yeah, that's what she wanted me to mention. Well, the first part of it, and then I had to mention the other part of it since I'm talking about them. But
Yeah, so now we've got to replace the yellow belly and the urine mastics.
mm-hmm.
Speaking of, after we get done with your, I've got to go check on Zelda.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, because I check sometimes. I'll do the water and stuff, but and if she's gone for a prolonged period of time, obviously I'll go and I'll step further and check and lift up the log, make sure it's in there, and make sure she's alive, and even feed the crickets and stuff. But a 3-day gone thing, it's food wise, it'll be fine. As long as the basking light, which I checked the temperature. She got a digital thing on there, so it's pretty obvious if it's too cold or too hot. I actually did turned on finally for the season, their heater up there in that room. Yeah, they're spoiled. They have their own little heater that actually is an ambient thing. It's a radiator type heater thing. It has an eco mode, so it doesn't pull as much, supposedly. But it works. It helps at that. It takes the edge off. Like the upstairs temperatures, like 64, 65. This thing could be set at 70. And then in addition to their heat lamps, which half of the room's heat lamps are on and half of the other reptiles' heat lamps are off, and then they rotate on timers with that then 70-degree thermostat set on that, they're fine. And that room's going to be the warmest room in the upstairs. And probably the house, honestly. I'm not going to lie. During winter time, I'm a cold guy. I kind of keep thermostat, the furnace set at like 64. So it's one of those things. I'm a believer in, you bundle up, you can dress up. This is why I like cold better, because you can dress up for it. You can have blankets, you can have snuggies, you can have full body suits, you can whatever. You do not have to suffer as much. Where heat, that is, you can get naked and still be miserable and have heat stroke. So it's just, that's my argument for winter over summer. There you go.
Yeah, and then there's my happy ass that, I'm more sensitive to the cold because of my thyroid shit. So it's like extra cold to me, while he's just like,
Mm-hmm. Like, what's wrong with you, freezing person? You're just sitting there in 60 degrees and it's like, you're fine. I'm like, I'm fine. I don't feel a thing. Did you? But yeah, that's
and my dumbass. So when I first started coming over here to hang out and whatnot, and I was coming over every other weekend,
which was in the winter time and the early spring.
Yeah. So it was like early spring and stuff, and I was used to wearing. I have pajama shorts. Like, I've got a couple pairs of like sweatpants and stuff like that, but I didn't really ever bring those. I grabbed my pajama shorts because that's what I normally more comfortable sleeping in. Because in my house, even though I have no heat, I had this little space heater thingy, but I would keep my door shut, and so my room would get all nice and toasty. So if I had, like, say, my sweatpants on, I would get too hot. So I got used to sleeping in my pajama shorts. I learned the hard way. You don't do that here. And you need to have slippers because the floor is fucking cold.
It's cold as my soul. So yes, there it is.
It's like, it's a tidbit nipply every fucking time.
Mm-hmm. Expect shrinkage in this house.
Yeah, and then, like, because of it being a habit to grab those pajama shorts, even though I knew after like the first 2 times that I needed to make sure to grab some. There was the one time that I completely forgot to grab my sweatpants or my slippers. I ended up leaving my slippers here because I didn't use them at home, but I needed them here when I came over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I left my sweatpants at home. I'm like, God damn it!
And
Like,
what's kind of
I'm gonna
nice.
freeze my ass off.
Well, now she's prepared. Now heading into the colder months, now she
I've
knows
got my
better to
blanket.
expect what to expect. Yes.
Well, I've got my own blankets and I've got my own clothes and stuff here, so that's the difference. Is that I don't have to track. Okay, I do have to travel to Indiana to get some of my stuff because it's still in storage, but for the most part, like the bulk of like clothing and stuff is here.
Well, in the reptile
And I
room
have my
being
hoodie.
naturally heated, I always joke with them and say, well, if you need to warm up a little bit, go in there and bask with the reptiles. Sure, Bonnie won't step on your head if you don't get in the way, you know, and it's just kind of
I'll
that
just
kind of
lay
thing.
on the floor
But
and
warm
keep
up
it
on there.
on.
But that
I'll put
room
my
kind of warms up. So the surrounding rooms, the problem is it's on that same side. So my office is going to be a little bit warmer, and the reptile room, of course, is going to be hotter. And then, of course, if you go up even in, because heat rises, there's a cupola, and we'll probably have to clean up and check out the status of that again too, and go up there because that will be warmer too. Their rooms are on the opposite side of the hall, so they're still going to be cooler. And so it's just one of those things. And the thermostat upstairs is on the exterior wall of the reptile room, but close enough to give a reading of picking up on the reptile room heat. And so that will, of course, if once get to a point
Keep it
where
from going
the furnace will be turned on
up.
upstairs, it will be less likely to turn on because it's recognizing more of the false read from the reptile room, which is obviously a little bit warmer, not noticing that just 5 feet across the hall, it's actually 10 degrees cooler.
freezing.
So
It's freezing temps.
it's just one of those, freezing temps. So it's just kind of one of those things. But I did in process of preparation, I did get a new furnace filter, the second to best one that they have, like I always do for it, because I actually don't go cheap on furnace filters. But it's the one that catches the allergens and some bacteria and some virus stuff and the particles and stuff. So it has a fine fiber, rated 3 months. I did finally get one though for downstairs furnace because this mansion has 2 furnaces, and I got one for the downstairs one in preparation, and I tested it the other day before we'd actually need it. I definitely believe that you should kick it on, especially if it's been off for the summer. Turn it on, see if it turns on. Yeah, and so you guys missed it because both Zach and Sasha were gone when I did this. But, of course, running it through, getting that burnt dust smell out of get that through the process so it's done. So when it comes on next time, it's not going to be like that. But it worked just fine. It warmed up downstairs really quickly, especially, of course, when it's not that cold yet. It's not going to take much for it to warm up.
Of course, it's gonna be all nice and toasty downstairs on the day I'm not here.
But I don't have it on, though.
and-
That's the thing. I just turned it on as a test run, ran it for about an hour, and then I shut it off. I set it like downstairs temperatures naturally reading about 64 on there, and then I turned it on. I ramped it up to about 69, let it run for a while, and it got pretty much up to that. And you felt, I felt kind of, this is kind of hot, stuffy, you know. So that's me, though. Again, I like the cold better. So then I shut it off. And I was like, okay, well, that works good. Also, another thing I do for preparation, which I haven't done yet, but that is replacing batteries in the smoke detectors. That's another key thing. We have carbon monoxide detector, which is important also, and smoke detectors. A couple smoke detectors that are upstairs because I'm a strong believer in having them, especially in places where there is a harder escape. Because I don't think I left the ladder fire escape ladder thing at the other house I moved from. I need to get one for here.
I was gonna say I've got 3 windows and I've got a tree outside of my one. So
Right, because I have this plan too for evacuation of reptiles too. They all have these little smaller like carrier crates and stuff. They would quickly, if at all possible, try to get them and kind of drag them down the window if we had to, if we were blocked off, kind of thing. These nightmare things you have to think about because it's just life, shit happens.
He's
They hope
one of
it
those
doesn't
people
ever
that actually
happen,
cares.
but it's one of those things that you think about, and I think of the those kinds of things. And it's just, so because I guess it's a good thing to think of them and versus not think of them. I mean, it could be like I could be a careless homeowner that doesn't change batteries and smoke detectors or doesn't even have one, but yet then expects his friends to sleep upstairs in a place that's harder to escape if there was something like that to happen. Duh.
See, I'm that person that I know there's batteries in my smoke detector, and when they start to go out, they get really highly annoying and beep all the time, and that's when I'll change them. Otherwise, I don't fuck with them because I've lived with people that set them off anyway, so I know they're usually working.
And these ones, they might do that too. I think they would because they're not the cheapest of the smoke detectors. I actually spent money on ones that they talk to. There's a female sensual voice on them. Of course, I would do that. Yeah, so when they go off, it's like beep, beep. It's like fire, fire, beep, beep, beep. And then, or if there's one that's a combo. There's one that's a combo. So it'd be like beep, 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 carbon monoxide detected, beep, beep. So I got those because I don't want the cheap $19 smoke detector. I'm happy spending the $40-$50 to get that extra voice.
What, like the ones that would have been in my trailer that I was living in?
Oh, is that you had the cheapies in the trailer?
I didn't put them in. That's apparently what came with the trailer when Mike bought it.
Yeah, well.
So, I'm so glad to be out of it.
And more than one, so there's that too. You don't want to rely on your life in the hands of one faulty detector that doesn't work.
Oh no, there was like 3 of them.
I'm just saying in general.
And then no, it's like you turn on the stove, and so ours was a brand new gas stove. Like, I just bought it. Just turning it on set the damn detectors off.
We had one of those call them false alarm scream over spilt milk ones. We had that at my old house. It would always go off whenever you cooked something and it wasn't burning. It just, Luckily here, and there is one placed near the kitchen, it doesn't have that. Thank goodness. So it's a smarter detector, so it doesn't go off for every activity that you're doing in the kitchen. Because we had that at the old house. It just drove me nuts. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
So Zach, real quick, I have a little space heater thing that is in my storage unit that I can pull out when I'm there tomorrow.
Well, there's that.
Just saying.
He's thinking of her eco from a savings. Does it have an economy mode on yours?
I think it does.
Okay, we'll have
That's
to
why I'm saying
just see what that is first, because I'm for space heaters to a degree. Some of them can, obviously I like certain types over others, like the ones I have in the reptile room, for example, because it's quiet. It is more energy efficient. And obviously, like with all of them, you don't store them near combustibles when they're on. You give them their space, but it is rated to be safer. So the ones that are there's so many different types, but the ones that are like that open, I don't know, a fire hazard waiting to happen kind of thing. I don't like those. But yeah, if we get one like what he's saying, I think he liked the one too that was in the reptile room. But yeah, it doesn't matter, I guess, as long as it's like an eco setting where it's saving a little bit of green but it's still, doing the job of just keeping it at a comfortable level that isn't necessarily, I have to keep it 90 degrees in your room. Then that's doing the opposite. It's going to shoot that electric bill on up. And it's like, why does it have to be that hot?
Right. Yeah, no, it didn't make our electric bill go up very much. And that was on top of, I had mine, and then mine was it's a slim little one. It's very, very quiet, and it can rotate, like, side to side. Kind of like the DOTS projector does for Phasmo.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
it's not that annoying.
And here's the thing, of course, like the Andy beer sack. Here's the thing. it's gonna be kind of for each like extra additional separate heater that we get for this mansion. The overall HVAC system is going to be turned down a couple degrees. So keep that in mind. So if we get like that electric fireplace type thing I was talking about for the theater room, and that's heats theater room and bedroom down here. Well, okay, so that covers a little bit of that. So the thermostat downstairs can be turned down a little bit more. And then the ones that, if we get upstairs one, you would have two, assuming Zach gets one, and then the reptile room's already there. So that thermostat would be turned down a little bit more on there to kind of compensate. Does that make sense? So, because we don't have to run them, because they're supposed to be a supplement to help you save energy and not have to run your overall system as hard. But, so that's the thing. But
Right, and I mean, my room's not small, but it is smaller. Definitely smaller than your room downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it could keep this heated pretty easily, and it has to have an eco mode because it has an automatic shut or turn on and shut off because it's got a thermometer on it. So if I have it set to say be 72 degrees in my room, once it hits 72, it shuts off and it won't kick back on until the temperature drops.
Well, that's just the thermostat, but that doesn't mean it's eco. So
Well, no,
eco
I know,
mode
I know.
is a little less, like anything can have a
energy
thermostat
efficient.
on it, but eco uses less energy. Some technology in it that I can't get into right now, but it has something that it pulls less electricity to warm it up at the bare minimum of its capabilities, and you crank it up to the normal mode, then it's more juice and it heats up a little harder and faster and that kind of thing. So eco mode to my knowledge, when I did research on this, it's newer on these space heaters, like within the last
I just bought it
5,
last
6,
year.
7 years kind of thing. So yeah, but it doesn't mean necessarily it has it. So it's one of those things you have to look at, see if it actually has on the, I will say on the dial, even like ECO.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was because I think that was one of the things I was looking at because I didn't want our electric bill jumping sky high.
All right.
Because that was the only way we had to heat the house, so we needed to keep it at a manageable price. So,
all right, so we went off on that tangent about space heaters here. So about 20 minutes ago, I was going to say, okay, let's wrap this up here. That's about an hour and a half at that time. Now we're about an hour and 50 minutes in. Anything else that you must drop into? Nope, you're done? Okay.
I'm done.
All right, so we'll wrap this up here. See what we can do to try to decompress a little bit. See if she can get some gaming in since she's not home as much now. It's good. I mean, it's good she's back out.
I'm not going to lie. I miss our routine. But I love working thirds over working day shift.
Mm-hmm.
I can get a lot more done when I'm not dealing with people.
All right. So, do we have chimneys? No. The answer is no, as in current day, but we did in the past. There's 2 fireplaces that are here, but they're the remnants of their past. So they're not functional. So, I mean, one of them, if I ever did, would probably be the one over here if I wanted to, if I came into money and hired somebody to install a gas fireplace, because that's what my parents did. They had a gas log installed in their fireplace, so that way it also then helped. You didn't have to actually use a firefighter anymore and have to worry about the cleaning it and the soot and all and possible carbon monoxide type stuff. So they had gas log installed on there, and so they could keep their thermostat, I think, for their heat down a little bit, because that thing worked almost like the old fireplaces where you're just burning your log in your house and you didn't have to worry, So that would be something that I'd be interested in, but it would definitely be this fireplace, not the grand. I call it the grand fireplace because that one's cool. It's a antique. Clearly, it's probably the more formal of the fireplaces here. That's in the dining room, so I don't really want to mess with that one, even though it's more center placed in the downstairs. So, but either way, I still don't want to mess with that one. Anyway.
What's funny is I have an electric fireplace. It's just sitting at my sister's house.
Right. Well, I want electric to, like I'm saying, at least even if it's a temporary until I got a gas log installed in this one, actually use the actual fireplace hole. again with the gas log. But until that day comes, I'd have to go the cheaper route though, and just find like I was telling her, find a whether it's Amish look fireplace, a rustic looking one, or whatever that fits that dimensions for the outer shell of the fireplace over here. So you kind of back it in there so it kind of looks like it's, you know, the fireplace fire. But just for now, that's what I'm thinking of for kind of a short-term, cheaper thing. I was chilly last year and loved the reptile one. I think Eric didn't feel comfortable with a space heater. I was thinking of putting it in the nook for so putting it in like that little door-to-door room connecting your guys' rooms. So if you put it there, you might feel some of it from his.
I was gonna say, would that mean that I would need to move my blockade I have there?
I know. You guys would figure that out when you get there.
Oh,
because that door is not completely airtight. It would, I mean, some of that heat would go through it. But
and not to mention that your building is taking up the only area that I could possibly move that to, anyways.
well, that's important right now because I get Chapter 9 done.
Yes, it is.
So.
Which is why I don't mind sharing my space.
You could rearrange some stuff though, and where the table is now, I move that bookcase somewhere over there. I mean, there's different things you can do with it.
No, I've got my stuff put up. I would have to take down.
Well, you could also put it in front of one of those windows that would act as the other thing you bitched about too much light coming in.
Untrue.
Just saying.
But well, there's no backing on the thing, so I don't want stuff falling out the back end of it. That's my issue.
Well, you know, you guys will figure this out. It's a first world problem, so I have faith in you guys to figure it out. But
no, we must, be in.
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. Two Libras trying to knock something out. I don't know. Maybe I should be worried. I don't know. I had to give you a hard time because I'm the only Sagittarius in the household right now. So,
yeah.
Zach, you're away again? Question mark. I thought of an electric fireplace too, but the reptile heater may be more efficient. Yes, working in Nashville today. Okay, so let's talk about that. Okay, so okay, so yeah, so just kind of wrap things up here. I know next weekend, Creatures of the Night, I think Zach is trying to goal to be back. So to kind of answer your question, Lupita, he might be on camera with her if she's here. I don't know. Her schedule's all like over the place.
So right now, how I have it is I have it where I should be off on Friday nights.
Okay.
And I'll be off on Saturdays. Like my boss already knows that next Saturday I've got shit going on. So
yeah, because we have with my actual real team, Paranormal Endeavors, we have a case coming up the next weekend. So it'll be one that I know Zach was planning to be back for because he's an evidence analyst assistant with us. So he's I want to be on this one because he was going to try to be home this weekend just because of Friday the 13th. But it really. Beyond that, it's not that important to be back here for us. It didn't make sense. Yeah. So if of the two, it'd be better continue working and then come back when there's a better use and it could be more of use to be back for. Other than that, yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up now. We're approaching 2-hour mark, which is one of the longer creatures in a pretty minute. Anything else?
Real quick, Lupita, December for him.
Yeah. How long is your shift, Sasha? What time do you get out? Okay, can you wrap it up short?
Yes. Yes, it just depends on what time I want to go in and what time I want to leave.
There you go. That's a quick answer. Kind of, was it? What's it? Like the Q&A. That's like a quick, kind of like rapid fire. There we go. That's what I was thinking. Rapid fire Q&A here. All right. Okay, so thank you for tuning in this special Friday the 13th one here, and thank you for checking out Peculiar Encounters Hunter Hunted, our first pilot episode, first one, the premiere of it. Check it out. Again, I noticed a couple of you said that you might have to rewatch it again. I think Jay did too. I think Lupita also said that, so check that out again if you want. Share it. Try to get more, because I know with the hype of the Peculiar coming up, and then of course I was doing some Adventures with Boonga stuff on the channel too. Started getting some more subscribers just in a bulk just recently. So we'll just see how that goes. And speaking of which, it says it's my channel's birthday. Let me go
Happy birthday!
and look that up and see. Oh, well, it overshot it a little bit. October 9th of 2006 for my main channel. So, happy birthday, Klein Studios Production YouTube. Anyway, all right. So with that said, everyone, I guess peace. Rock on.
Bye.